is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without prejudice. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
Welcome to another purge of the BS. I'm not really sure we're having an early technical issue, but I'm gonna power through it today because it's Juneteenth. It's a holiday about powering through stuff. So happy Juneteenth to everybody. Y'all see I got my Juneteenth flag waving in the background, got my Juneteenth colors on. So we're gonna get into this episode here now. Bring up my chat, make sure I got at least. All right, I got a couple of mods already there. Thank you, Al Bond, for stopping in. IMZ, I see you stopped in as well. Time to get this thing going. So, give me a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me well and I'm not glitching. Like, if we're good to go. I need to know that we're good to go before I go. Because I'm seeing some information that's making me wonder. It's still going, so. Okay, whatever, man. It's already a little off, though. I'm just saying it's a little off. So if stuff starts glitching or something, I need y'all to let me know. Y'all are my eyes from the internet. Hey, man, we're just gonna let it run. I don't know what's going on with the internet connection right now. Keeps dropping now. As long as the stream is working, we working. So welcome to another Purge of the BS. If this is your first time stopping by this channel, make sure you like and subscribe to the video, hit the notifications, and make sure you come back for the next live. But we are going to get into it today because we are going to be diving into some real unlawful entry type situations. But these ain't from Hollywood, guys. These are happening right now in your communities. When the people that we trust to give us good information and do the right thing become the very predators that we are trying to get protection from. Who do we call? How do we deal with it? Well, we start by purging the BS. So thank you once again, everybody, for coming in. Let me bring up my soundboard. Make sure I got my gongs and explosions and so much and so on and so forth ready. I hope you guys are ready because we are going to get right into it. All right. Thank you. I like to give the algorithm a minute to let y'all know we're here. Channel's been throttling off and on for the last couple of weeks, so we're going to see what today holds on this wonderful Juneteenth. So once again, happy Juneteenth to the folks, but let's get into this purge of the BS. Now, first thing we got to cover today, I actually did the original story for this regarding a young lady, well, not as young lady, named Christina Formella. Y'all might remember Christina Formella. She's recently been known for doing something pretty nefarious. Bring y'all the story so we can follow up. Now look, I told y'all, got to be careful of them Christinas. They're a wild bunch. A wild bunch right there. So Christina Formella initially was arrested on this video that we're about to see for allegedly having a actual, say, relationship with a 15-year-old. Well, there's a little bit more to it than that, but I'm going to refresh your memory on who she is if you don't know who she is. And we're going to run through this initial video, right? Thank you, guys. Make sure you hit the damn like while we're here. Oh, one more thing before I move on. Matter of fact, I'll come back.
For the car for me. I know you're confused. I'll explain everything to you. You don't have anything on you? You can just grab whatever you need.
Whatever I need?
Yeah, whatever you need, like your phone, your purse, go ahead and grab it.
Is she going somewhere? Or?
Yeah, we're going to explain everything to you guys.
All right.
Go ahead and grab it. We're not going anywhere right now. Of course, yeah.
I don't understand what's going on here.
I get it, yeah. You can go grab your things.
Can he come with me?
Yes. You stay there for right now, sir. Just stay there, but yes, you can. But come on back here.
Should I shut the car off?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Goes off. Okay. Let's right back over here. So, we do have an investigation going on. We have to talk to you about it at the police department, okay? So, we're going to explain everything to you there. It's not my investigation. I don't know the full details. We do have to bring you there, though, okay? So, I do have to put you in handcuffs and bring you to the police department. Just a dump truck.
Handcuffs?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
I'm, like, willing to go with you.
I get it, yeah. Unfortunately, we have to do it that way. So, do me a favor. Just take this off.
Can I ask you what?
Of course, yeah. It's not, like I said, it's not my investigation. Obviously, we're here for a reason. So, go ahead and turn around for me.
I'm like...
I get it. You have a lot of questions.
So scared.
Right now, I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you more.
Excuse me, is my husband coming with?
Yeah. He's taking his phone number down. We're staying in touch with him. We're just going down to Grove, so 10 minutes away.
No, I know, but I really would prefer that my husband's with me.
Of course.
Am I in trouble? Like, I'm so lost right now.
All right, well, we're not, first of all, we don't have to go through all that. So basically what happened to the lady, if you don't know, let's see, she gets to the thing.
Hey, can you get like a bag just in case she gets nauseous? Yeah. I don't know, do we have any of those MSS bags?
They tell her that she's arrested for SA.
Something better than nothing.
Gets to crying and hyperventilating, putting on the theatrics. It's good body cam. Good body cam. That's what she's doing for us here. Now you crying. Okay.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Yeah, right. That's exactly what we're all asking, Miss Formella. So let me bring you into the story. So that was her getting arrested. But basically, let me tell you what happened. Yesterday, she got hit with an additional 52 charges, in addition to what we saw her getting arrested for in there. And basically, the prosecutors now allege that the abuse was much more than initially thought. Now, let me bring this back. This person was 14 years old and she was 30. The teacher. Told you. Wild bunch. I keep telling you that a wild bunch. Some people are just part of a wild bunch, and this Christina is part of a wild bunch of people. I don't know how in the world you can find no 14-year-old boy, and you're married. Oh my God, I don't even want to go into it. Just the thought is just, that's probably about as narcissistic as you get. She thought everything was cool. And then now she crying, but you didn't think you were wrong when you were doing that? But anyway, so she caught an additional 52 charges because investigators say they have found hundreds, if not thousands, of text messages to support the boy's allegations. She first noticed the boy when she was a coach for one of the sports teams and when he was a freshman. Okay, so he was a freshman in high school. And she's a grown-ass married woman. Come on, bro. Let me tell you what. I've seen high school freshmen. I actually have a child who's just getting past that year. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you told me some 30-something-year-old teacher was diddling them, I'm not going to be happy with that at all. Sometimes they say the little boys, when they get that going on with the teacher, like they're lucky or whatever. I'm not going to take that stance on this. I think this is disgusting. Okay? I think this is absolutely disgusting. I'm not going to play that whole misogynistic, oh yeah, man, he was real pop. No, we're not even going to do that bullshit, because at the end of the day, this was somebody's child that was subjected to the wiles of a person who was in a position of authority over them and was married to somebody. Like, come on. Anyway. Apparently, she allegedly got inappropriate with him while classes were in session. Things happened at the school and at her home. So that means she brought this little young man to her house that she shares with her husband to do some nefarious stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, There ain't a jail deep enough for people like this. There's not. There's not a jail deep enough. So apparently she told the boy that she didn't plan on marrying her now husband because he was having an affair with her best friend. First of all, why does a 14-year-old kid care about your husband's affair? It means nothing to him. And you trying to bring him into an adult situation, go find somebody your age to cheat with. It shouldn't be that hard. I mean, just to be honest, she's not an ugly lady, so she could have just gone into the world and allowed nature to take its course. But no, let's go mess with the 14-year-old. She is a dirty, dirty bitch. Anyway. Now, her husband is apparently standing by her side, regardless of the allegation. But let me tell you what. I don't really know about any recovery for the marriage after that. Like, if he's cheating with her best friend or whatever, that's already a problem. And then if her get back was to have a relationship with a freshman in high school, 30, and you're a teacher, it's just some nefarious shit. So she got 52 additional charges. The only reason why I wanted to bring this case up is because we did the original case with the original body cam that you already saw. But a lot of people didn't see that episode because it got throttled, as we do by having them real conversations. They always think that we're glorifying this kind of behavior. And I would have to say, I am not glorifying any sides of this. I'm not glorifying the kid. I'm not glorifying the teacher, Christina lady. I'm not glorifying none of these goofiness, none of this. Now, I'm sure to a degree the child may have been into it at some point. But that doesn't make it right. You understand what I'm saying? R. Kelly went to jail for stuff that people was consenting to. And a lot of people have because they're too young to be doing that shit. And this woman, this dirty, stinking ass, I'm sorry, it's too early. But just thousands of, so you're texting them? Like you leaving evidence. You leaving the breadcrumbs, Miss Christina. Told you, they a wild bunch. And then got the nerve to be crying and all that. You see this? I hope they throw the damn book at you. Nasty bitch. All right, I'm on to the next thing. I can't, It's cool. Sorry, I'm calm now. Just diabolical. Just diabolical, man. That's the only word I can think of. And then you got the nerve to be crying. Like we supposed to feel good for you or feel bad for you, as they would say. 20 counts criminal essay, 20 counts aggravated criminal essay, 6 counts indecent solicitation, multiple grooming charges. So she's got total now is 55 counts, and she's facing 60 years in jail. I hope she does every minute of them 60 years. You don't deserve to come back and be part of the public when you're doing all that. You're destroying children's lives. You're destroying your marital home. I don't know if she has any actual kids herself. I don't know. But that's just crazy. Now, this ain't the first story we've heard about this kind of stuff. It's just, it went from one charge of what they thought was an isolated incident to they went through some text messages, and apparently this woman had been pursuing this child since he was 14 years old. Just, we got to protect the children, man. This is ridiculous. Because now I got to get to my second story, and that one is also going to piss us off. Happy Juneteenth. So, in this second story, we're going to need to get into something that's a little more touchy. As if that wasn't bad enough starting out. Hold on. Make sure y'all hit the like button coming in here. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I know the stream is having certain issues, but make sure you hit that like button, okay? We have been struggling with dealing with AI and YouTube, and it has been tough over here. Not going to lie. I want to turn the AdSense off, but nobody puts in any super chats, so really the AdSense is how the channel actually makes it. I would love to just turn the ads off, because that's what causes the problem. So if you guys start doing that, I can actually turn the ads off. Maybe I'll start putting in a goal for that so we can turn the ads off, because I really would love to do that. But anyway, so I apologize for anybody that's getting hit with ads right now and getting pushed behind the stream. So that's why sometimes I'll take a minute to get from story to story so people can catch up, because I know that's how that thing. So anyway, back to our next. Hope y'all are ready. All right, guys. Tennessee decided to uphold a ban on gender-affirming care for minors. And that is going to cause a kind of a, what do they call it, a dead man switch of litigation or legislation throughout the United States. The way the United States works sometimes is when they give people a state law, other states will say, if they're cool with it, we're going to do the same thing. So it's like, if it's cool in this particular state, it's cool over here automatically, the second they say it's cool. So in Tennessee, they made the decision to ban gender-affirming care for minors. Now, we're not gonna say my personal opinion on that just yet. I'm gonna let this dude talk about what the litigation was.
Turn now to a landmark decision by the Supreme Court. It upheld a Tennessee law that bans some medical treatments for transgender youth, ruling that it does not amount to discrimination. Devin Dwyer reports from the court. Good morning, Devin.
Hey, good morning, George. Parents of teens experiencing distress over their gender identity had challenged Tennessee's ban as sex discrimination, a violation of the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. But Chief Justice John Roberts and the court's conservative majority said denying access to puberty blockers and hormone therapy is reasonable medical regulation that should be left to the states. Justice Sonia Sotomayor and the liberals wrote in dissenting in sadness, saying the decision will inflict untold harm on kids and their families. George, 25 states have laws in effect banning gender-affirming treatments for minors. The Republican sponsor of the Tennessee ban told me overnight he expects this decision will now encourage more states to pass laws protecting kids from the medical risks. But meantime, an estimated 300,000 families in this country with transgender kids will have to look to other states where gender-affirming treatment for minors remains legal. Robin?
A lot of families are going to be impacted.
All right, a lot of families are going to be impacted by this. Well, let's see. What's banned? Puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and basically going under the knife as a minor. You know, I really have never understood why this is such a conversation. And I'm forgive me, because I do have an opinion about it, because I do have children. None of them have said that they were, not in the right body or anything. But what I'm saying is I understand that my kids go through these mental changes, how they feel about themselves, how they see themselves. And at different times, they may feel different ways. I have never supported chopping up a child. Never. So, people will say what they want. Well, this was a conservative majority that put this into place, which is true. But I just don't see why that's such a thing. If somebody's feeling that type of way, you should, I'll put it to you like this. I smoke cigarettes. I need to be a certain age to smoke a cigarette. I need to be a certain age to drive a car. I need to be this, there's age limits to stuff, right? And I think the problem with that whole litigation was it had to do with minors. And the term minor means anybody under 18. So that could be a 7-year-old, which I've seen, where they're transitioning small children. And if you think that a small child at 10 years old needs to be taking puberty blockers and going through hormone therapy, I don't think you're helping whatever issue they got going on. That's just me personally. I think that you should probably have them in therapy, try to work out whatever you can. And if they decide they want to go chopping stuff off when they're over 18 and all of that kind of stuff, that's fine. But here's what they say, right? Here's what they say. What they will say is that doing the transition early keeps the kids from going through, depression and all this kind of thing. It's like, how can we be so sure? Like, how do we, because the suicide rate, I'm sorry, I'm not even supposed to say that word these days, but the personal unaliving rate is just as high regardless of whether you do this transition thing or not. And I've seen a number of stories from people who've done the transitioning and they regret it and they can't go back. So I think at minimum, we can give these kids some time to just be children. You see what I'm saying? Be children and just go to school and not be worrying about whether or not they got a hole or a pole and they're in the wrong body. Like, the thought to me is like, why are we even having the conversation? Why does the Supreme Court have to hear about this? Now, I'm sure there's some people that are going to say they don't like what I'm saying. And that, you know what? That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion like I'm entitled to mine. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying I think the kids should not be doing that. I don't think we should block the natural puberty that God placed in our bodies based on our chromosomes. And for even if you don't believe in God, whatever placed in your bodies, this stuff is natural. Women produce estrogen, men produce testosterone. Things like this happen. And you don't necessarily have to force those things. But if you force them in the opposite direction on a minor, it just seems sick to me. Caddy, thanks for stopping in the chat over there. Yeah, it just seems sick to me. But like I said, it's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. I have no problem with this litigation. I think they should never be worrying the damn Supreme Court with this, because I think we as American people can understand what's right and what's wrong. And we should not be chopping up our children. Sorry, we just shouldn't be. We should have them focused on education, learning some things, finding a skill, not sitting there worried about whether or not they're in the right body. It's just, that's a tough one, but I don't see why we're having such a long conversation about it. But see, at the same time, what they're saying on the other side is that this is government overreach by preventing doctors from what medicine they can practice. So they're saying it's not about the kids, it's about control. And when politicians start overruling medical professionals, we're in dangerous territory. That's what they're saying. I don't agree with that. Just because you have a doctorate doesn't mean you get to just do whatever the hell you want to do to someone else's human body. You want to go chopping something off? Chop your own stuff off. Do some experiments with yourself then, if that's how you feel, doctor. But I feel like it is protecting to a degree. It's protecting the children that might make that decision and they don't really know what they're doing. And then later on, they live to regret it. You think that's not going to cause a negative mental health experience when you can't go back because you done already took your pecker and turned it into a poker? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say here, man. I just don't understand why doctors think that this is their right to do this to children. Because that's the argument. They're saying that the government doesn't have any right to tell doctors what medicine they can practice. So it's not about the kids. Well, it sounds like the doctors to me ain't about the kids. They about getting that check. And I'm sure these type of procedures, which you have to keep coming back for, and you got to go through a lot of upkeep and maintenance, probably cost an arm and a leg, and they make these doctors a lot of money. And I think the doctors are focused on money. The government's focused on just the confusion of the whole thing, and maybe let's just not mess with the kids. That's what it sounds like. Just to me, it's an opinion. Like I said, you don't have to agree with my opinion. But leave the damn kids alone. Please. Sorry, man. So for the Democratic Supreme Court justices that voted for this to happen, and I don't mean for the ban to happen, but for the continuation of this type of treatment on our children, shame on you. A bunch of old biddies who are women that didn't chop off or add anything to themselves. I saw which justices we're talking about. It's just the ladies. Why do women want people doing that? And I don't mean all women. I'm talking about those women. Why would the Supreme Court women want people to do that as minors? I don't know. That's why I'm saying I don't even understand why it's a conversation or why the Supreme Court has to hear it. It seems pretty straightforward to me. You can't even rent a damn car before you're like 21 to 25. Why should you be changing and chopping on your body or making a decision to do so? Or having the ability to make changes to yourself without notifying your parents? Like, man, stop that. I don't know what they're trying to create with that. I'm a little leery, though. Like, why are they pressing for shit like this so hard? Why are they pressing for dudes and women's sports so hard? Why are they pressing for this? Every time you say something like that, they're like, oh, they're being discriminatory. It's discrimination to not let men play women's basketball. What are you talking about? It's not discrimination. These are women. These are men. The women play with the women. The men play with the men. That makes perfect sense to me. It don't make sense to have dudes in the women's sports. It just doesn't. So why is it still a conversation? I still don't understand, guys. I do not understand. So since we're talking about sports, I got to get to this next story. Y'all going to get a kick out of this. Because for real, with this whole Supreme Court thing talking about kids, man, they got bigger fish to fry. So I'm going to need people to put bigger fish in front of them. I think this is a stupid discussion, and it's a waste of freaking time, resources, and Supreme Court justices who basically spend their life making these kind of choices. Ridiculous. But anyway, we get to this next thing. Y'all gonna love this one. All right. Guys, y'all not gonna believe this one, okay? A few months ago, I did a story about the WNBA, right? And one of the players in the WNBA named Caitlin Clark. Some of you may know Caitlin Clark. All right, Caitlin Clark is, in my opinion, she's like the Larry Bird of the WNBA. And the WNBA was initially, it was all melanated women playing the game with each other. And then they started to move in the cream. And now we got the cream of the crop, which is this woman, Caitlin Clark. And when Caitlin came into the league, she got a lot of hate from the players that were already there because they weren't used to seeing somebody like her. But in response to her being added to this league, the WNBA viewership has increased almost 800% in one season. 800%. They might actually make some money this year. It may happen. I don't know. But the league has been in debt since it started. So for the first time in WNBA history, there is a chance that they will come away from the year with a very small but notable profit. So Caitlin Clark is like the savant of the WNBA. But she got a shoe contract. She got all the stuff like NBA players would get. Now, granted, she didn't get millions and millions and millions like LeBron would or somebody, right? But she got a nice contract. She got a shoe contract, and she gets on the court, and she be hitting them buckets. But the recent problem is there has been so much aggressiveness towards Caitlin Clark that now the fans are saying the WNBA is getting too violent. Yeah, you heard it right. The WNBA is getting too violent, and people want change in the WNBA. So all it took was Caitlin Clark getting on this court. Now everybody's doing too much. Now it's too violent. Women's basketball is too violent. That sounds crazy, but that's what they're saying. But you got to see what happened recently with Caitlin Clark. We're going to look at it, and we're going to talk about it real quick, okay? 1 second. Y'all got to check this out. Caitlin! So Caitlin Clark was in, I guess the finals are going on right now. And I don't really watch WNBA basketball like that. But to be honest, people are watching it right now. It's almost like how they watch car racing for the crash. Because now that this thing has become more physical, more people are watching. So it's kind of like maybe the so-called violence is bringing in viewership. Kind of like back in the 90s with the Bad Boys and the Pistons. And you know what I'm saying? It was kind of rough. So women's basketball is now becoming that. So this happens the other day where apparently Caitlin Clark gets poked in the head or poked in the eye or something. I'm going to let you guys see it, and then we're going to discuss whether or not this is a LeBron flop or if they really did do something here. Okay? Play this out. This is a short clip. Found that. Hear anything? Hold up. All right, well, it's just the clip then. So anyway, she comes around the corner with the basketball here. She gets poked in the eye, and then she gets bumped by this other lady, right? So it's a big story, as you can see here. And then the other woman comes in, bow, knocks her on the ground. So as a result of this, or at least this is what they're saying, later on, this lady decides to basically get a get back. I mean, there's no other way I can say it. She gets a get back. So let's watch that play. Now they in the stands. So as you can see, Sophie Cunningham came back, attacked the other person, and got the hard foul here, as you can see. And so now people are screaming that the WNBA is too violent. I will say this. I've watched more WNBA basketball than I ever have in my life. So maybe it is getting a little rough, but it does add to the excitement a little bit. And I think if they could keep it together, because these are women. Women scrap. They scrap differently than guys, but they're known for scrapping. It's called a cat fight for a reason. It's kind of crazy. There's dust everywhere. There's a lot going on. So I'm all for it. As long as they don't hurt each other too bad, maybe they can make it theatrical, you know, kind of like how LeBron flops on the ground all the time, just like they're doing here. And they made it theatrical. I'm here for it. I'm not going to lie. I think, you know, calm it down a little bit, but that spice definitely seasoned up the WNBA. That's all I'm going to say. So some people do believe that all of these people should be suspended. But when I saw the clip, I saw that the poke in the eye seemed accidental. Then the flop, they thought it was the big black girl, but it was actually the other little white girl that came in. And so I just believe that they blew it up. You know, it was a little bumping around, but Caitlin Clark did do a flop. It was a flop. I know a flop when I see a flop, it was a flop. But they didn't suspend anybody. And so people are upset that they didn't suspend people, and then upset because they think the WNBA is too violent, and they think that the reason why it's becoming too violent is because they're not suspending people for stuff like this. Now, like I said, I'm here for it. I think they can regulate it, but just like football and basketball, there's going to be a skirmish here and there. You know, it kind of comes along with the territory. So I don't think that it's becoming too violent. Ain't nobody been hurt, really. I didn't see any blood. Like, nobody even got scratched. You know, they didn't even pull each other's hair, which, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't mind watching that. Thanks for the subscribe there, Gary Gay. Thank you for stopping in as well. But I don't know, you guys in the chat, what do you guys think? You think that people should be suspended for bumping Caitlin Clark? Or do you think that things are just fine and let's keep watching and wait for the crash? I'm all about waiting for the crash. But see, this is where it started. It started with her poking her in the eyeball right here, right? It looks like it might have been an accident. That looked like an accident to me. She's swinging out for the ball, caught her in the eye. Now, here's where the problem happens. Instead of, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, she kind of comes up on her like, yeah, bitch, you know, like something like that. I couldn't read the lips, but watch what she does. Come right up on her and bumps her. See? Watch this. Right there, and then she bumps her. Boom, right there. And the other lady, boom, right there. That was a flop, but she did push her. You see what I'm saying? But some of you may not know, Caitlin Clark came back and scorched in this particular game. I think she had like 30 points on him. She was hitting Jays like Steph Curry from way back. Like the women's three-point line, I think it's 20-something feet, 22 feet. She's back at 30 feet draining. So you're definitely getting your money's worth, WNBA, with this Caitlin Clark person. I honestly, I think she was a great addition to the league. If y'all actually make some money this year, I'll be happy for you. Let's try to keep the violence to a minimum, but at the end of the day, they're not even swinging on each other. Like they're women, so they're kind of grabbing each other and hair and hugging, and I'm not saying that women can't fight. I'm saying these women don't really fight. They're not fighters. They're not Clarissa Shields or Chun-Li, the little karate hottie Barbie chick from MMA. They're just women basketball players, so that doesn't mean they can fight. So to a degree, it's kind of like harmless. I hate to say it. Kind of harmless to have I mean, not saying they need to fight. I'm just saying, let's not say that this thing is turned into a gladiator ring just yet, okay? Let's let the ladies play. They're bringing in some viewers. They're bringing in some additional crowds, and they might actually make money. Libra 61 star, thank you for dropping into the chat as well. You know, I've had my issues with Brittany Griner. I see you mentioned Brittany Griner in there. You're talking about Brett Griner. Yeah. I've stopped talking about that because apparently ain't nobody going to do nothing. I have expressed that this woman's voice is deeper than mine. This woman's voice is deeper than mine. I done seen that there ain't nothing on the chest to indicate that something was there previously. Like when Brittany Griner was arrested in Russia, went to a men's facility. Like there's a lot saying what we already know, but nobody seems to be doing anything about it. So I'm gonna leave that alone for right now. But it is interesting that the WNBA never really speaks about men and women's sports. Like, they don't really say much about it. They don't really say, oh, we're all for it, bring them on, or no, we don't want it. They try to stay out of it because I think a couple of these players, starting with Brittany Griner, might have a little too much testosterone. A little bit. So, for those who haven't been watching WNBA basketball, it has become a little interesting with this Caitlin Clark thing. I'm not going to lie. I still can't watch a whole game, but I can definitely watch highlights. But I cannot watch a whole game. They be missing layups. Like, it is very frustrating. If you're a basketball player and you're in the fundamentals and all that, it's good to watch because they do have a lot of good fundamental skills, but they be missing some of the easiest layup shots. That's why this Caitlin Clark person is way different. She's cracking them like Steph from 30 feet out. We're not used to seeing that. So it'll be good. I hope they can find some other players to build this up and maybe make the league some money. I would love for the WNBA to actually be a successful business venture because it was placed there because women didn't have that option. Once they got out of college, you had to go overseas to play, or that was just the end of your basketball thing. So even if you got all types of records and accolades coming through high school and college, that was the end. So they created the WNBA to be fair. And I think that it was a good idea. It's just they've never marketed it right and they've never promoted it correctly. And so what we get is highlights and Caitlin Clark. I'm going to tell you what, Caitlin Clark is a godsend to the WNBA. Do not let them hurt her just because they don't like her. She is the one bringing the money in. Let her continue to do that. I'm going to need all the players in the WNBA. Y'all need to come together and have a conversation or do a freaking prayer circle or whatever y'all got to do. But y'all might have to calm it down a little bit when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because if you injure the best player in the league, them ratings are going to tank again. So let's not do that. But anyway, you see, that's all that needs to be covered here. Oh, there's also an investigation into Angel Reese for like targeting Caitlin Clark. There's a whole thing with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are basically like Magic and Bird of the WNBA. Well, they're supposed to respect each other. But yeah, it's Magic and Bird just in. So now that people actually care about women's basketball, suddenly it's too violent. So where was all that energy when nobody was watching? It wasn't existent. And now the WNBA is finally getting the attention they deserve, because I believe that they work hard and they do deserve some attention and some props. They finally getting the attention, and now we got to tone police this thing. Sebastian Polega, thank you for stopping in the chat there. I keep trying to tell y'all that there is an ongoing beef with this channel and YouTube when it comes to notifications and all that. So that's why I got to try to keep a schedule, because it's not going to tell y'all nothing. I get constant messages about the topics that we cover on this channel. Just the other day, we did a topic about the Big Pharma lawsuit and the fact that they're going to have to put out money for drug recovery programs. The video got hit for glorifying drug culture. See what I'm saying? So it's always something over here. So they're not going to tell y'all nothing. But I got to keep showing up, because that's what I've been told to do, is to keep showing up, and eventually they'll let people see this damn content. Because we go hard on this content. It's real conversation. And Libra61, you are correct. Angel Reese is not that good. She just had, and I'm not even going to say she was like the prettiest player in the league, but she had some high-powered friends. Her brother was playing over at University of Maryland, so there was like a name in the family here. And so Angel Reese got a little bit of like star power from some of the people she knows. She's cool with Shaq and that kind of stuff. She went to LSU, so that's how Shaq knew her. So she gets a little more praise than her play would warrant, but I don't think she's not deserving of being in the WNBA. I'll put it that way. She's good enough to play in the WNBA. Now, that's not saying much unless you talk about Caitlin Clark. Tell you, Caitlin Clark a beast. Y'all can say what you want about that one, but I've watched a couple games. She all right. But Sebastian, I appreciate you coming in and at least checking in on us over here, because we already know. We already know this real conversations and just having these cool talks. They don't want that. They want us to keep talking about Trump all the time. And I'm not with that, because that's not all that my life has to do with is geopolitics. That's ridiculous. Now, granted, there is some stuff going on, and I will cover those stories when time comes. Like once they actually declare World War III, then maybe we'll have that conversation. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all see it. I ain't got to talk to you about it. We're going to watch it, see how it develops, and then we'll have a conversation. But no, Sebastian, it's not just you. You can ask any of my mods who've been trying to help me keep the channel going. It's serious over here. I don't know what it is, but this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. I need to turn the ads off. That's what causes the problem. But the ads are currently how the channel, which is monetized, that's how the channel makes money, because we don't get a lot of super chats and stuff and cash apps and all that. So the only way that the channel makes anything is through the ads that they're running. If I can get the folks to, grab a membership, it's like $2 a month, right? Grab a membership, send a super chat, do all these things. Guess what I can do? I can cut the damn ads off. And then maybe they won't be so hard on the channel. I don't know. But we need to start doing that. Not that I don't want y'all to come back if you don't have nothing to contribute, but that's how you support the channel, is getting it so I don't have to have the ad thing on for the monetization to work. See what I'm saying? Let's get to that point at some point. We're going to discuss that on another episode. I had time for that right now. Hit the like button at least. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, what's next? What do we have next? Are we getting into it next? What's the next one? Okay. What was next? Oh, wow. This is a Juneteenth special right here. This is a Juneteenth special right here. Check this one out, guys. All right. Let me bring this back over because we're gonna have to talk about this. This one has to be dealt with specifically. Okay. Libra 61 star, thank you for that subscription. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to send you nothing. You'll catch it after the fact. It'll say that, you know, something was there. That's the best you're going to get. I'm telling you, we go through the metrics. We look at a lot of different factors. Even the AI can't figure out what the problem is. But I get a notice on every video about something. So I'm sure the Caitlin Clark segment, because I said that it was bringing viewership to the WNBA, they're going to say that I was promoting violence. That's what that's going to say. And the only reason why they can do that is because they run these ads. I don't know what they run because I don't see the ads, but they run these ads, and the ads can only run on soft content is what it's called, soft content. So you have to be soft with your content in order to remain ad friendly. I'm not that soft with my shit. You know what I'm saying? And to be like that, it wouldn't be genuine. I got to be genuine with my people, at least to some degree. Granted, there is a filter and a buffer in my head at all times to try to make YouTube happy. But this is not just YouTube. Twitch is the same way. Facebook's the same way. I get crap on all forums, every last one, except for maybe Instagram, but it's probably because I'm not on there like that. Instagram is like the only one that doesn't really bother me. Everything else, I get notices on everything. And I'm not even talking about glorifying violence. I'm talking about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. But to the algorithm, you already know. And y'all can see in the chat that other people are confirming what I'm saying. I got in trouble a week ago for talking bad about AI because it was called egregious harm, because that discussion could damage the reputation of AI, which is wound into such a financial responsibility because everyone's investing in it right now, that now the AI is trained to protect its own reputation. And I showed it to y'all live. I actually made my AI shut down on the live because I was questioning it regarding that. So there's no more question about whether or not this is going on. We know what's going on. So that's why y'all got to just come back at the time, 11 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays, Saturdays, 9:30 p.m. That's it. It's just 3 shows a week. Panel show is on Saturdays. Solo shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right? And if I'm ever going to miss those times, I'll put something up so people can see that. Because I'm tired of dealing with them people. I would love to shut the AdSense off on this channel so I could just vibe. But without real contribution, it's like, what's the point of monetizing the channel if I can't earn anything from the channel? You know what I'm saying? The channel is supposed to be feeding and supporting fair chance employment and technological training for ex-inmates and stuff. And I can't do that without the money, so that's why I leave the AdSense on. So it's nothing personal. If you're getting a lot of ads, I'm sorry. It's not me. I don't do that. But anyway. Yeah, you know the Transformers episode, Sebastian. That one. You saw it. So anybody that thought I was joking or just talking my shit, I showed it to y'all in real time, how that thing works and what it's doing and what it doesn't like that I'm doing. Just talking. But if you're crap, if your AI is crap, if you're generating crap, I'm going to say it. It's crap. Now, some of the generative AI is awesome, but they do nefarious stuff with that. Like they'll have, Donald Trump jerking Elon. You know what I'm saying? Like they do whatever they want with generative AI, which is dangerous. I'm talking about prompt response AI, where it's brainstorming with you, it's doing research with you, that kind of stuff. That's fine. It's that generative AI you got to watch out for because it generates things. It creates. It's organic in its own way. It's weird. Anyway, let me get to the next story. Because this is a Juneteenth special. Okay? This next story has to do with one Umar Johnson. Do you guys know who Umar Johnson is? I'm going to give you a moment if you don't. Let me bring this story up here. There we go. Here. So Umar Johnson is a self-proclaimed Prince of Pan-Africanism. And if you don't know what Pan-Africanism is, it's basically some real, like, black power in America connecting to Africa. A lot of Pan-Africans are still talking about segregation and stuff like that. So if you know Umar, he has been in and out of, now I'm not going to say the news, but he's been in the podcast space. He's been in a movie I saw called Hidden Colors. Like, this guy's been around for years. And he's always been talking about this school that he wanted to build called the FDMG, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. And people have been waiting on this school to appear for probably 20 years now. I'm just being real, maybe not 20 years, but a good 10. A good 10, maybe 15. They've been waiting on this FDMG Academy to appear, and apparently Umar began building this thing, finally. And then, just the other day, he came to the property, and it was apparently vandalized. So I have a clip of him walking up on this vandalization. Come to find out, it was children.
At the Frederick Douglass High School, we haven't had anybody vandalizing the school for several years now. We do have cameras. I'm going to go through the cameras and find out who it is, and I will make a police report. I will be sending images to the police. We haven't had any vandalism in years, and now the vandalism is back. But it will not go unchecked. It will not go unchecked, brothers and sisters.
Now, I understand some people don't even believe the school exists, okay? So if you're one of those, we're not taking that angle right now. We're going to, just for the sake of argument, we're going to say Umar took 15, 20 years to get this thing together, and it happened, and now it's been vandalized. Now, my question is, why vandalize it? Like, why do all that? But whatever. Let's take a look at the footage. I'm going to pause that because I just want to say what's up to Jay Coleman again. Jay Coleman, thank you for stopping into the chat. And I do understand what you're saying about the topic that you just mentioned in the chat. And it is what it is, man. I've been showing people. I'm not crazy. I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? You say certain keywords, it turns on this thing. And then the thing says, hey, watch everything this fool says. And then if you get that to happen enough times, then every time you go live, it's already on you. So newer channels can do more because they haven't built up a reputation of pissing off the Transformers, all them, okay? But thank you for coming in, and I appreciate y'all in the chat for letting me know what's happening outside of the broadcast. Because as far as I can see, everything's smooth, except I know that my connection is being throttled for some reason, and I'm not sure why. Actually, I am sure. We're not going to talk about that. So anyway, I'm not going to lie. I donated to Umar Johnson like 10 years ago to put towards this school. So now I'm mad because that was my money. Walking like the damn predator.
We had a YouTubian struggle streamer, undercover booty bandit, who called the electric company posing like me. Y'all know who he is. The undercover booty bandit, Dr. Umar Hater #1. They spilled paint over everything. They stole some things, but they did way more vandalism than theft. They destroyed everything in there, brothers and sisters.
So they got here. They can come through that door.
So y'all been seeing the people who've been breaking into the school?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Yo! Excuse me. Get out that school. Yo! Come out. This is a school, young people. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, family? What are we doing? Let me find out. It's the little people. Sister, I need you to turn that camera off. Nothing's funny. Turn it off. And I need y'all to move on. You can't hang on this block. This is... Excuse me? I need y'all to go, or I'm going to call the police.
Hold on. So let's just unpack the first piece, okay? Let's just unpack the first piece. Now, I'm not sure what booty bandit Umar is talking about. If anybody does know, please share that with me in the chat, because I know that there's a lot of people that don't like Umar for whatever reason. Whether they don't like his haircut, they don't like his forehead, I don't know. He's got different things that people don't like. He had an issue with his daughter recently, where she came out talking about how he was like a deadbeat dad. But come to find out, it was more about the dynamic between him and the mother of the child that caused the problem. And as hard as that is for some people to understand, that does cause a lot of people to not be as involved in their kids' lives as they would like to be. I know it's so hard to believe that a mother would keep their child from having a nice, healthy relationship with their other parent. Hard to believe, right? But yeah, I can understand where that might happen. But anyway, so with Umar's situation, like I said, if anybody knows what booty bandit he said called whoever, I get it. But here's where my thing is. Did the school ever actually open? I saw desks and stuff in there. It looked like a gymnasium. It kind of looked like they were still moving in. It didn't have the whole, this is an operational facility look to it. It looked like a warehouse that they were kind of putting some things together in. And not to take away from whatever efforts Umar has been putting into actually building this school that he's been talking about for like 2 decades. But I'll be honest, it didn't look like the best school. And considering how much time and money he has been able to raise over the last 2 decades, I thought he said that they had a college initially. There was a college that they had bought, and they were supposed to be setting that up. This didn't look, well, maybe this was a college building. I don't know. It could be one of them technical colleges. But it didn't look like a really nice facility. Like, if you look behind them, this looks like the alley where you pull up, where you get your car detailed or tinted. It's in the back. You know, the main businesses are in the front, but you got to go around the back to the alley part. This looks like the alley part. So I'm going to give them about 2 more minutes here. But my first question to the folks in the chat is, do we believe that Umar Johnson actually had built or created and built a functioning school that was vandalized? Or was it just a bunch of equipment in a building and somebody came in and vandalized that? I don't know. I didn't see no students. I didn't hear nothing about the students. He didn't say, well, what are the students going to do now? The place is trash. He didn't mention no students. Umar, I support your cause, but I'm just saying, bro.
Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism.
All right,
peace and Pan-Africanism,
right,
peace and Pan...
Hold on. For those that have never listened to Umar Johnson say anything, this dude will repeat the same line 3 times back to back to back for some reason, as if we didn't hear him the first time. So he started right with it. He went right into it. Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. I'm going to give him 2 minutes. I guarantee he's going to do that 5 times in 2 minutes. He probably won't even get a whole sentence out.
Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. This is your big brother, Dr. Umar Ifatunde Oguntade, coming to you live and direct from the most honorable Frederick Douglass and the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey Academy. I got some bad news for my FDMG donors. But we're still going to end it on a positive note, brothers and sisters. First of all, I want to say to my neighbors here in Wilmington, Delaware, I'm very disappointed. To my neighbors here in Wilmington, Delaware, I'm very disappointed. And the reason I'm disappointed is not because of the vandalism. It's not because of the graffiti. It's because I was gone for about a month and nobody called me, nobody texted me, nobody inboxed me, and nobody emailed me the fact that our high school had been broken into. Nobody said a word. I had to learn of this on my own.
All right, I'm going to pause right there. He said he was gone for a month. School just ended recently for most kids. So I'm going to venture to say that this was not a functioning school at the time of vandalism, because there would have been administrators who would have contacted him. There would have been someone else other than the neighborhood that would have needed to let him know. So I appreciate the efforts, but I believe that something's not right. And I'm not really sure what it is that's not right, but something is just not right. I don't know, guys. I smell bullshit. Just saying. Just saying. Something. All right, I'm gonna let him finish. Well, not finish, because this is a long-ass clip. I don't know what he's going to talk about for 40 minutes. The place is done. But notice how he came in and he mentioned all my donors, the people who've been giving him money for 20 years for this school that never opened. All due respect, Umar, you're going to need to open something. I don't care if you open a daycare at this point. Open something to say that you did it. Because people have been talking this thing about him for years, that he's basically a scam artist and has been siphoning money from the community for this project that was never going to happen. And they've been saying it for years. And the project still hasn't really happened. And now this vandalism situation is just going to be another delay. And then what's he going to need? More money to build it now. I don't know. All due respect, Umar, it smells funny, bro.
On my own. I got back last night, stayed in Delaware so I could come and check the post office and come check on the school. And what do I find? That they broke into the high school. What do I find? That they vandalized my private book collection of more than 5,000 books that I've been collecting most of my life.
I seen a CD. They still got CDs and shit. I'm not making fun of this. I'm just saying what was actually in there. Like, what was actually in there? I'm looking, and I see, like Jay Coleman said, I'm seeing some boarded up windows anyway. Now, maybe that happened after they realized the vandalization had gone on. But it's boarded up windows. The entrance looks like a back alley. It doesn't look like a college. I'm telling you, I follow Umar. So I remember when he was telling us, I think it was St. Mary's College or something that they bought, and maybe it fell through. Maybe it did. But they had millions of dollars at that point. At least that's what he was saying. So how do you go from getting a college to renting out a warehouse? I don't know. But I don't know. That's a gym. Go back a little bit. See right up in the top, there's a basketball hoop right there. So this is a gym. There's some tables over here on the side. I'm sorry, I'm investigating because I donated. I donated. Not recently, but I was one of them. I got, so to speak. So I want to see what the hell he built with my money. And this is apparently what happened. So there's a gym full of crap. All right, let's unpack it again. So you want me to believe that the fully functioning school with classrooms and so on and so forth, that's a high school, right, exists somewhere outside of this gym, yet all of the desks and stuff are in the gym. Y'all already know I smell bullshit on that one, because here's the thing. Did the vandals go take all the desks and stuff out of the classrooms and put them in the gym? Absolutely not. That means that this is the school. So you know what this looks like to me? It looks like an old rec center. An old rec center where they had some basketball hoops, kids would come after school, and that's what this was. It was an old rec center. Because you can't have desks and basketball hoops in the same space. It's gym and algebra happening at the same time. Is not going to work. I'm trying to do English on one side and you're bouncing a basketball on the other side. It's not going to work. So I'm inclined to believe that this wasn't really a high-level operation that was going on here. I'm sorry that it got vandalized, but just I wanted to know where my money went, and it looks like it went to buying a rec center and putting a bunch of desks and stuff in the middle of a basketball court so that somebody could learn, but there was no students actually enrolled at the academy. Okay. Jay Coleman, you know what I'm talking about. We looking at it. We looking at what we're looking at. Your eyes do not lie. And this is Umar's footage. So he took us through his school, and all we saw was a gym with everything in it. So the school is the gym. Oh no, man. I got bleachers on the side. How you got bleachers in the same place as the desks? What were they learning in here?
Out of print books, rare books, supplies for our children, clothing for our children, things we can use for the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. And nobody from Wilmington called me and said, Doc, I think the high school has been compromised. Now, let me answer a question right now, brothers and sisters. Let me answer a question. Some people are saying we thought you had security. We do on the Marcus Garvey Elementary School. We do on the Nat Turner John Jacques Dessalines Gymnasium. We do on our corner storage building. We have security on that side of the building. We have surveillance. We have up-to-date security system. If they do anything over there, the police will be on their ass within seconds. If they do anything over there, the police will be on their ass in seconds. If they do anything over there, the police will be on their ass in seconds. But we don't have that on the high school because we do not have electricity in the high school.
Okay, well, there goes the answer to my first question, which was it a functioning school? Answer is no. So they didn't even have electricity there. So for all intents and purposes, to the neighborhood, it was an abandoned damn building. And most likely those vandals were probably some drug addicts that needed a place to go, and they get to wilding out in there. And I'm sure there were some kids in there, but there was red paint everywhere. Who brings red paint to, like, go be a drug addict? You see what I'm saying? So that's where I feel like maybe they needed some additional money, and this is a maybe, and maybe this was set up in a way that he can get insurance money so he can really build an actual school and not just refurbish a rec center. Maybe. Just a thought. And if he's really a scam artist, then that would not be something he wouldn't do. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying I donated to Umar's cause in my life. I haven't done so recently. And I guess this is my version of donating, is, going over his story. But I wanted to know where my money went. That's why I stopped donating, is because I didn't see nothing popping up. So here we are 20 years later. The first thing I'm actually seeing is something that got vandalized. Jay Coleman, you know what I'm talking about. I want to give the brother the benefit of the doubt because I want people, not just black people, but I want people who want a better community. And I feel like, at least internally, Umar Johnson does want a better community. But this is a fake high school. Or at least it wasn't a high school yet. And if it was going to be a high school and I'm going to bring my kid there, why is everything in the gym? I'm not going to want to enroll my child there. Not in high school. Now, maybe an after-school program or something like that. Yeah, sure. But not high school. Where are we playing the damn varsity games at? In the alley? Where's the football team? Like, come on, man. I don't know. Maybe Umar thought we weren't going to notice that shit.
We do not have electricity in the high school.
Yeah, right.
We do not have electricity
so you don't have a
in
high
the
school.
high school.
You don't have a high school then.
This happened in the Frederick Douglass High School. Now, originally, we were going to save our money and wait to renovate the high school after we had our certificate of occupancy for the elementary school. That was the plan.
Okay,
but
so
after
you don't have
about 4 years of
and
no vandalism, brothers and sisters.
Hold on. He just said the elementary school's waiting on something too. So we don't have a high school and we don't have an elementary school. What else, Umar?
After 4 years of no vandalism, brothers and sisters, After 4 years of no vandalism, they back at it again. They back at it again. They back at it again, brothers and sisters. So we're going to have to get started on the high school immediately. Black electricians who can do a commercial job, licensed in Delaware and Wilmington, I need you to come to the forefront. Black electricians who are not licensed in Delaware and Wilmington, I need you to find somebody in Wilmington who can pull the permit. I need my black electricians who claim they care to find somebody in Wilmington who can pull the permit so you can repair the electric. The good news is the high school electric system was not as vandalized as the elementary school's electric system.
All right.
The good news.
Like this. This sounds like. I'm sorry, Umar. All due respect, bro, but something just don't float right with me on this one. None of the schools had electricity. Like when you buy a building, electrical problems are normally resolved in the closing. Like you get somebody to you make sure that the thing is operational before you buy it. Why you keep buying abandonminiums, bro? With millions of dollars. He said millions. I heard him just say it, and I was talking about it years ago. So something just ain't right. And I feel sorry for whomever may have invested. So I feel sorry for myself. I feel sorry for whoever else may have invested in these projects. Because up till now, we haven't had anything to go on. And then he just said there was an elementary school, but the elementary school ain't got no power either. So you don't have a school, bro. At all. Show me the school, Umar. 20 years I've been waiting on this damn school, and the only footage I ever saw was the school being vandalized and getting red paint all over the place. That's the best you could come up with for me after 20 years of supporting you. I'm so mad at Umar right now. He should have go in another school that was just gone for the year and say, this is what we're working on or something. This is ridiculous. But that's the thing. Abandoned buildings do get vandalized because people think they're abandoned. But a functioning school doesn't normally get vandalized. A functioning school, it's like people have some respect for the shit. It's a school. There's kids going in there tomorrow. We're not going to go destroy the school. Might go loot a CVS or something like that, or another store. That's what people do. They don't vandalize schools like that. Like at best, you'll get a spray paint on the wall at a school. But nobody goes in the school to destroy everything. And in most schools, if you go in to destroy, you'll see that there's a lot of like electronics in there and you end up just robbing all that. He said they didn't even really steal nothing. That means it wasn't nothing worth taking. Sorry, Umar. You're going to have to come back around on that one, bro. Yeah, I'm through with this guy. I'm absolutely through with this guy. I'm done. I'm so disappointed in him. So disappointed, Umar. Umar Johnson. Yeah, that's fine. He bought it as is. He did all of that. That's fine. But you can't say you got a school if you don't even have electricity. You don't have a school. You have a building that you want to turn into a school, but that's not a school. You don't even have a certificate to say that it's an accredited school. So nobody can even enroll in it. Not the elementary school, not the high school. I forgot what he said about the middle school, but I'm not giving him no more time. I'm just saying, through with that, man. Show me the school, Umar. I don't care what you do at this point. Show me the damn school. Jay Coleman, you get riled up because you smell the bullshit like I do. Bullshit stinks, so it gives you the screw face and you got to get it out of your area. So it deserves heightened and elevated emotion. 20 years, Umar, and I ain't going to tell y'all how much money I actually did donate to Umar, but I have donated to Umar a number of times. I just haven't done so recently because I want to see the damn school. And now I got this. So no, Umar, you're not getting no money from me. I'm not going to tell people not to donate to you, but I'm not going to tell people to donate to you either. Y'all make your own choices on that based on information you got. But me personally, nah, bro. You done enough, Prince of Pan-African. Okay. Prince of some bullshit is what it sounds like to me. Anyway, let me get to my next story. Since we're on the goofiness now, I'm already riled up. I am definitely riled up now. So let's get into our last two stories because we're gonna get into some stuff. Our last two stories are debauchery, of course. I always go through the debauchery because that's where the bullshit lies. It's in the debauchery. It's right there at the bottom. You can smell it, right? Now, recently, a young lady went viral for what I would call the most epic crash out on a plane that I have seen in quite some time. Let me see if I can pull this. The link. Give me the link. Give me the link. Copy this. And we'll do it. Sorry, it wasn't trying to give. There we go. All right. So, nonetheless, this lady has a crash out on a Southwest Airlines flight, and she is going viral right now for her behavior. I'm gonna let you guys see the clip, and the question that I'm gonna have at the end is gonna be pretty simple. And I'm telling you, it's a good question, but I need y'all to see this woman's behavior before I ask the question. Okay? It doesn't matter. You'll see it. All right, guys. Hit the like button. If you are in here and you have not touched that like button, go ahead and put your finger or whatever, your mouse, whatever you're watching it on, if you're on the live feed, widescreen, or the thin, mobile, whatever, the damn like button. Tell YouTube we here, okay? So anyway, this lady didn't want to sit next to this lady. She called her fat. And it started a whole thing, to which I believe that some marshals had to come on and remove this woman from the flight. But I'm going to let y'all see the clip. It's actually pretty long. I'll speed it up. But let's get into it.
Stay there.
Don't touch
her.
No.
Don't touch her.
No,
this is where her asshole is.
Do not touch her.
Look at her.
Shut the fuck up.
Don't fucking touch me.
Step back.
Let go.
Southwest Airlines, by the way, in case you were thinking of booking a flight.
Let go of her hair.
You cannot do that.
Let go, man. Let go of her hair.
I'm not. Andrea. I'm not even touching your hair, bitch.
Andrea, we need the police right now.
You need to let go right now.
We need those 911.
All right, so her name is Andrea, okay? Now, I know I told y'all earlier the Christinas are a wild bunch, but there's some Andreas. You got to watch them, too. Them Andreas be on some things sometimes. So a lot of them are nice. I've met a lot of nice Andreas, but it's normally ones that were like Andrea spelled different. They be the ones that's a wild group right there. But anyway.
You need to let go.
911 back.
You need to let go right now.
Miss, let go of her hair right now.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to sit next to a fucking fat lady.
So this is all because she didn't want to sit next to a fat lady. This is what started. So she must have gone into another seat. They must have told her she had to sit in her actual seat. She was like, screw y'all. I'm sitting where I'm sitting. And this must have been what happened. But yeah, the delusion is crazy. She does say, I'm not even touching her hair. Meanwhile, she has a fistful of this woman's hair. What is wrong with people? Now, I'm telling you, I know what it is. It's one word. And it's going to hurt some people that I got to say it. Alcohol. Alcohol is a problem. You mix alcohol with crazy bitch, and you get these types of results. So maybe, just maybe, we should be a little bit more strict about the alcohol on flights. I'm just being honest. I've seen some crazy stuff with people drinking on flights. This is just another example of it. I hate to be that guy, but maybe because we're in such an enclosed space, maybe we shouldn't have alcohol on flight. I know that sucks for some because you're trying to go to sleep and all that kind of stuff, but it's not y'all. That's the problem. It's the Andreas are a problem, okay? So let me let it finish up, but I really think maybe we should just not have that. How about that?
Let go of her hair. You need to let go of her hair right now. Let go of her hair.
You guys are already past the point of no return. You're already past the point of no return.
Let go of her hair, miss.
Y'all see me. You
go.
know what's going on.
Put her
It's
on
just
the ground.
retarded. Yeah, put me on the ground. Put me on the ground. Alright. Look at this fat lady. Look at this fat ass bitch. She can't even, look, you can't even see her stomach. It's horrible. Look at her outfit. Look at this fat ass bitch.
Meanwhile, you're
hilarious.
First of all, what's hilarious is you talking a lot of shit with them cuffs getting put on you. Your day is about to be ruined. Mine was a minor inconvenience and probably got to wash my hair because who knows where your hands have been. But you're the one going to jail. So you talk all the shit you want. You got handcuffs on. You're not going to be able to do nothing to me. So say you. Matter of fact, I'm disappointed that the lady whose hair got grabbed ain't saying nothing right now. Like at this point, you could tell this woman to shut the up and get out my face. Crazy ass.
You can't even show your mouth because you're embarrassed. You can't even see it because you're embarrassed. Shut the fuck up.
Hold up, she didn't even say nothing. How you gonna tell her to be quiet? You talking. You talking to yourself.
Who is Alana?
Sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, ugly ass fucking dude who's never gonna lay it again.
No, actually, he's gonna get laid later today.
Okay, I'm sorry, black guy. My boyfriend's black, so shut the fuck up. My boyfriend's fucking a black guy.
Oh, whoa. Your boyfriend's fucking a black guy? What do we got going on here? What kind of debauchery is this, Andrea? Did you just spill the beans on your boyfriend?
Okay, I'm sorry, black guy. My boyfriend's black, so shut the fuck up. My boyfriend's fucking a black guy. My boyfriend's a black. My boyfriend's black. My boyfriend's a fucking black guy. You're joking.
Oh no! Oh no! Whoa! Mm-mm. Spitting in this lady's face. Now, I know for a fact that spitting on someone is considered an assault. And you don't know where this woman's mouth has been. And she does say she has a black boyfriend, but we don't know. We don't know what's going on. But what we do know is she's spitting on people. That's assault. So this lady who's getting spat upon should be, that's how they tell me that I'm promoting violence. I'm not going to say it, but y'all know what it is.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
She said we're not doing all that like she didn't just do it. You did just do all that.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, put a seat down. Shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
First of all, these guys suck at handcuffs.
Ugly ass bitch, you're so fucking weak. You never got laid in your life. Your boyfriend's dick is like 2 inches big. That's embarrassing. I'm so sorry about your boyfriend. That's horrible. That's horrible. I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Oh,
I
now
can't
we
breathe.
got the I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. Okay. Let me go, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Shut the fuck up, I can't breathe. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Nobody's fucking touching me, fuck you. You're not letting me go, motherfucker. You're corny as fuck. Nobody's letting me go. I can't get out. Yeah, you shouldn't get out. You're fucking fat as shit. You disgusting fat ass.
Yo.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fat ass pig. Fuck you. You're so beautiful. You're stunning. Shut the fuck up. Can anybody do something, please? Get the fuck up. No. Yeah, okay. They need to close the live. I'm going to send them this way. Okay, I'm sorry. My boyfriend is
Turn the camera back straight.
No, you're no, my boyfriend's fine. He just jealous for that reception.
First of all, the cameraman deserves to be arrested. Turn the damn camera back straight. Pay attention. You got one job, which is to collect this footage. You got the damn camera sideways. You're not even paying attention. Not even paying attention. But I'm gonna be real. They should have just taken the lady off the plane. They handcuffed her and then laid her on the floor. She's still in the damn way. This other lady's trying to get off the flight. They got to deboard the whole flight. I don't know if they're getting on or coming off or what the situation was, but they got to get everybody off. So get this lady off. Or maybe it's one of those we can't get her off till everybody else is off kind of things. I don't know. But this is They letting her do too much. I'll tell you what, if that was me doing all this, kicking people, look at this shit. Look at this shit. That's another assault charge, by the way. And I'm just going to say this on the behalf of black men everywhere. Let's not get these white girls. She says she has a black boyfriend. This is not the snow bunny that you want to hit the slopes with. Okay? She's toxic. She's obviously drunk. And right now, I don't know where her boyfriend is. But if he exists somewhere, he needs to be over there getting her the hell off the plane. Something wrong with this woman. But I believe that she had a lot to drink. I feel like that's where it started.
Fuck you! Fast! Fuck you! You're so beautiful! You're stunning! Shut the fuck up! Can anybody do something, please? Get the fuck up! No!
Drag her ass out the plane!
Okay, I'm sorry. My boyfriend is black. You need to shut the fuck up. No, you don't need to. No, my boyfriend's black. You need to shut the fuck up. Reception.
All right, a white person pulling the my boyfriend's black card like that's going to get them out of trouble, that's new for me. That's a new one. I ain't never seen my boyfriend's black, like that's going to get you unarrested. That might make matters worse. Just being honest. They'd be like, well, what's his name? Oh, as a matter of fact, he's got a warrant. And now you're an accomplice or whatever. But yeah, she keeps saying this thing about her black boyfriend as if that was going to help the situation. Nobody cares about your black boyfriend, ma'am. Nobody. And he probably doesn't care about you. I'm going to assume that this type of behavior is what you exhibit all the time. You're a little crash out dummy. So he probably flew your ass away. That's why you're on this flight getting drunk and acting up with this other lady. But she spit on a lady. She kicked a lady. She grabbed her hair. Oh, yeah, she's going to jail. She got at least 3 charges just from what I named. And if there's any resistance, which just happened with her kicking at the officers, you got resisting arrest, disturbing the peace, reckless endangerment. There is like at least 5 to 8 charges this woman is getting just off of this stupid ass crash out. It's almost over. It's almost over.
Alright, I can do that. No, you need to fucking chill. Fuck you! Fuck you! Leave me the fuck alone! Look at that ugly ass bitch! No. You're so fucking fat! Leave me a fucking alone! You're fucking disgusting! Don't fucking touch me!
So why don't you jump over here? She can damage this stuff.
Yeah, I'll damage all you.
Oh, they had to put her ass on a stretcher. All right, now, I don't know what happened between the last video and this one, but she real quiet in this video. I don't know what they did on the plane between the 2 footages, but they got her calm. I'm inclined to believe that someone put some pressure on her to calm it down. They aided her in that decision. Maybe it was through some type of a sedative that they gave her, or maybe it was through that fruit punch that may have come from somebody after the fact. Al, you're right. Where was the taser? Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why she's so, because she is calm as hell. You see how they wheel her out? She ain't saying nothing. Look at that. Shh. Go to sleep. Somebody said they definitely gave her something. All right, find out, where were we? Sorry, I got to do. Can't see. Oh, wow.
Stay there.
But anyway, so as I would imagine, this young lady was a crash out dummy. Hopefully her boyfriend escaped this at some point, or maybe he saw this video and was like, all right, that's enough, Andrea. It's over. But yeah, they knocked her out. They gave her something. Definitely was a different personality in that stretcher than the one that was on the plane kicking and spitting and cussing everybody out. I don't know if they gave her a sedative or what, but I don't think you're allowed to do that. I don't think you're allowed to just inject people with shit in the field, because you would need to know if they're allergic to certain things. So I feel like there may have been some pressure. That's all I'm going to say, some pressure. They hit her with that, go to sleep, go to sleep. They hit her with one of those. Chokehold. I don't think we can say it. A hold, a submission hold. There we go. We'll say that, a submission hold. That's what they do. All right, well, that was that story. Into the next thing. All right, last joint. All right, we're on the last joint now. Last joint. Now, this one's a little interesting. I want to close it out with this, because I've been following some stories lately regarding law enforcement getting in trouble. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, right? I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but for those who don't know, there's been a lot going on in Florida regarding the law enforcement system, and a lot of the top dogs getting arrested. Most recently, the sheriff of Osceola County was arrested for racketeering, conspiracy, and basically he was running an illegal gambling ring in Kissimmee, Florida, right down there where Disney World is. The irony is his own deputies raided the casinos that he was protecting. So his own people raided the place and found out it was him. Now he's still in custody right now, but of course it opened up a whole investigation here, right? And the Orange County investigators, which is weird to me because Orange County is not Osceola County, so I guess they got to get like a unbiased group to do the investigation. Maybe that's what they do. But they had Orange County do an investigation. It turned into a 300-page investigation that revealed a bunch of systemic misconduct, to the point that they had to basically fire a bunch of people, hire a bunch of people, and then also, I think they did, like, I don't want to call it a consent decree, but what I got here, hold on a second. Pull it up. Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry, somebody asked.
So for those that didn't know, let me bring Marcos over here. All right, we're almost done. We're on our last bit. So this is Marcos Lopez, okay? He is, or was, the sheriff up for his little bond hearing. He's going to show the clip. This is actually a few days old now. He's still in jail. Let's see what we got.
I'm sorry, somebody asked a question, I think. I'm not sure who.
How do I start the bond process?
So your attorney is likely to come talk to you in just a few minutes. She's probably going to come across the street, Mr. Lopez, and do that. If that doesn't happen, they're going to let you reach out to your family and to your friends. Also near the phones over there is a list of bail bonding agencies. You might want to try that as well. But I think your attorney is likely going to leave my office here shortly and come talk to you, so you can chat with her.
All right, so he's got no bond, at least. I think it's $1 million bond. He's got $1 million bond for this situation. But it was actually a pretty interesting. So let me go with the orange. X is normally pretty. Did that story. That story. Other one. Oh, they don't want to talk about it?
I can believe that. You're going to be.
Oh, I can't show any of this body cam footage because the reason why they did the investigation is because of a recent a recent interaction with a person who was mentally unstable and taking them out. So they're having a lot of issues with that. Then there was this other guy who got kneed in the face a few times, and I'm gonna bring the story up because I gotta encompass this because the problem that I've been having lately is it seems like the top dogs are the worst dogs, and that's not even just in law enforcement. It's in entertainment now. It's like all of the top people are dirty and they up to nefarious shit. And eventually, when somebody needs to make to justify their existence, as I call it, they'll set one of them up to get raided. But they've been doing this same thing for however long they've been doing it. So it's like y'all already knew they were doing it, but right now you need to justify your existence. So let's drop this card on this right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop this card on this thing right now. So every time, somebody always calls me during. Be tuned in to the podcast. That'd be cool. All right, y'all, just bear with me one more second. Oh no, it's not gonna be. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up this clip I had. Or the clip in that. All right, this will work. All right, we'll do this one. So when Marcos Lopez got in trouble, what that started was basically an investigation into everything. Everything became scrutinized. Everything went under the microscope after that. Oh, I finally got some strength on my I feel like the stream's about to die on me. Sorry if that's what happens. Yeah, it's trying to die on me. I don't know. This is the last clip. So nonetheless, there's a new report that got everything. Basically, once you catch the sheriff doing something, then everybody that's under the sheriff, they got to now investigate.
Creates a web of lies.
Influencing 2 other officers to lie.
All because of this body camera video.
We got him pinned against the couch right there. He kept fighting, couldn't against. I gave him a couple knee spikes to the face, good ones.
How an alleged cover-up has a new police chief cleaning house.
And one Kissimmee police officer has been arrested. Several others lost their jobs. Thanks for joining us. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm John Brown. This all stems from an excessive force complaint back in 2023. And Fox 35's Manny Martinez is joining us live in Osceola County today. So, Manny, there's a lot to unpack in these documents.
There is, John, and this is our first look into the months-long investigation into members at the Kissimmee Police Department. The investigation was done by the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and the city gave it to us in the form of this flash drive. It's 268 pages detailing how investigators say a dozen officers, including the former chief, went wrong.
We should not be here today. But we are, because a former police officer made a series of unacceptable and deplorable decisions, including influencing 2 other officers to lie to minimize his excessive use of force.
Hey, don't touch him, man.
Okay, go out and shut the door.
Don't touch him.
I didn't touch him.
Yeah, you shoved him.
I did not shove him. I'm helping him.
Come out here to this other eye. Don't touch him.
No. Get out and shut the door.
Come on.
No, I'm not coming out.
We got him pinned against the couch right there. He kept fighting, couldn't against. I gave him a couple knee spikes to the face, good ones. Split his face open. We got blood everywhere immediately.
He was so calm about saying that. Yeah, he split his face open. It was blood everywhere. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he's so nonchalant about that.
And that body camera video that you just watched is where the investigation claims the lies began. Officer Andrew Bisagio was heard bragging about the force he used on a man back in 2023. That led to his arrest after a grand jury indictment. Bisagio has since pleaded guilty. Now, the incident prompted an FDLE and state attorney's office investigation. Former police chief Betty Holland here in Kissimmee resigned last fall. The investigation found her to be incompetent as she mishandled, quote, the aftermath of that excessive use of force incident. Investigators determined she even compromised the criminal case against Bisagio when she shared relevant case information with him while that case was still open.
This was not a department-wide cover-up. The actions of a few who have been held accountable do not reflect the values, the commitment, the dedication, the integrity of the men and women of the Kissimmee Police Department as a whole.
So I'm going to do my best to be clear here because it's a little hard to follow along, but the investigation names 13 officers. 12 of them have at least one sustained complaint. In all, 7 people are no longer with the department. 4 of them were terminated.
Hold on. So out of 13 people, 12 of them already had previous cases for misconduct. Jesus.
The others resigned. Of those who are still with the department, 3 were suspended 24 hours without pay, 2 were demoted, 1 was exonerated. Chief Broadway told us today the investigation did not find any pattern of policy violations within the department, and he also adds that he doesn't expect any other criminal charges here. Coming up in our next hour at 6 o'clock.
What else? So there was that. The Andrew Bisagio thing, where officers are laughing about the excessive force, and turned out the guy, I don't know if he had a warrant or what, he was going through a mental health issue, and they decided to deal with him that way. Then, more recently, there was another person whose name is Terry Washington Jr., Terry Washington Jr. also had an issue with the police in the same area just about a week and a half ago. So, go with this. All right, this one's going to get me in trouble, but it's at the end of the episode now anyway. So if they didn't cut us off yet, we're good to go. So this happened a week ago in the same area by the same general police officer situation. Now, this is a short video. I'm probably gonna have to pause it when it gets to the bad part. But the following video contains some graphic content that may be disturbing to viewers. Discretion is advised.
How you doing?
Okay, so my son, he's been diagnosed as a schizophrenic.
Okay. Where's your son at right now?
He's at the house.
Okay.
And he also has a warrant out for him because he didn't show up for court because he didn't take his medicine, which was a conditional release, which was a condition of his release.
Okay.
The manic episodes are starting again.
Let's go ahead here. All right. So we have a diagnosed schizophrenic who's not on their meds. This has been established. Why not call a mental health professional then? Why go interact with a person that you know is having a mental health issue? See, sometimes they just roll up on the scene and somebody's wilding out. But in this one, you not only know that the person has this mental health issue, you know they haven't been taking their medicine, and that's also a reason why they have a warrant. So immediately, in my opinion, a mental health professional should have been contacted, whether it was the person's doctor, Terry Washington's doctor. Somebody should have been notified immediately once they had a diagnosed schizophrenic person who's off their meds, who's obviously wilding out. I don't understand why that's not the same way you could ask for a supervisor, like when you get pulled over and they got to get the supervisor. Why not make it normal that the second you know you're dealing with a mental health issue, that the police are not allowed to interact without a mental health professional available, like present? Somebody that might be more familiar with the person, somebody that might be more familiar with the condition. Police officers are not psychologists. They don't even get really trained on psychology when they're learning to be police. So what they see is a person wilding out. They don't have any idea of what a schizophrenic goes through. So to them, anything that doesn't seem rational becomes dangerous to them. So let's see where this goes. But I already see I'm just already on the defense, because I don't like when somebody tells you, yo, this person is crazy and they're off their meds. Why not right then, make the call. Hey, we got one of your folks over here. We need you to come down here with the white van that y'all come with, the straitjacket guys. Bring them down here and let's deal with this together. Not I'm going to go over here by myself, armed, looking for somebody who might not think that they are who they are. It's a bad setup. It's a bad setup.
Given us permission to come in, correct?
Yeah.
Is there any weapons in his hand?
We either have a knife or something.
His knife?
His knife? So I think he took it from him, this morning.
But that cop looks so young. But about to have a day of reckoning, so to speak. They will change this cop.
That's cut-proof, technically. Okay. You look at that door, don't close it. You look at that door, don't have him close it. Close it. Knock it. TJ, it's the sheriff's office. Come on out and talk to us, buddy. You got no trouble. TJ, we just want to talk to you.
That'll always be the thing. They just want to talk to you. You already know. Yeah, they want to talk to you about this warrant, and they're going to arrest you afterwards. But continue.
TJ, you come out and talk to us?
TJ! That's up.
I feel like this is about to go. Jay comes out. He is looking not happy with this visit. And he's going through mental health episode, and nobody else. Nobody else. I don't hear them on the thing. Somebody's en route. Nothing. I haven't seen this body cam. That's why I'm pausing it, because I thought they were going to start shooting as soon as it came out. So I'll try to avoid the real violence here. So what else would an officer do in this position? Man's got a knife here, right hand, obviously lunging at the officer. What else would we expect the officer to do here? I'll be honest with you. I'm not siding with the officer per se, but I'm just saying a person comes at you from this close range, brandishing what could be a deadly weapon. I can see why they might have started firing. I don't see why this would be considered an unjust situation or unjustified. But I will say this. They went to the place without a mental health professional. The mental health professional maybe could have added some insight to it. Maybe they could have talked to TJ from outside the room and, that kind of thing. You want him to come out, but you only want him to come out so that if he is brandishing something, you can take him out. And that seems to be what happened. But it didn't take long. It definitely, he escalated the situation by coming at the officers with this knife. So I'm going to be honest. Like I said, I don't like to see anybody get hurt or harmed. But if you come at an armed person, especially a police officer, this is going to happen. Now, the fact that he's schizophrenic and all that kind of stuff, I mean, it does come into play. But that officer wants to go home to their family, too. So I'm not going to say I don't feel bad for the family and the loss and all of that. But it's like, what do you expect the cop to do if he ends up in this situation? Maybe he should have called somebody beforehand. Maybe he wouldn't be in this situation. But what do you expect them to do when they're in this situation? So the new ideas that they have, at least in Florida, is to basically make it a requirement to have a mental health professional available when they're dealing with these. The problem is the police officers don't necessarily want the mental health professional to be available because the mental health professional could have been the person that was lunged at with this knife. And then if they lose their life and the officers have to deal with that, that's also a bad thing. So it's kind of like, what do you want them to really do in this situation? Now, if somebody just is 30 feet away with something, use the taser, hit them with a beanbag, throw a rock at them, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? A knife is a close range weapon. So even if you throw it, like most people aren't that good at knife throwing. So, but when you're this close, I don't know what, I'm gonna be honest, I wish he would have had the taser out, but he didn't have a lot of time to react. He really didn't. So I don't think that this case is a good one of poor training. I think it's poor policy. Training-wise, he responded to a threat against his life. Policy-wise, there was no requirement for a mental health professional to be there. So it's not giving protect and serve. You know this person is crazy and going crazy and off their meds. They're already going to be in a heightened emotional state. They could have a cell phone and jump at them the wrong way and end up being unalived by the police. Like, I feel you, Jay Coleman. I'm not saying, that's why I froze this image, because at this point, any rational person, if you're looking at this and a person's got a knife drawn at you, you're about to take my life. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure I go home to my family. So I don't fault the officer for this response at this point. I fault the officers for not doing things ahead of time when they knew what they were dealing with. And the reason why they didn't do that is because it's not policy. It doesn't say they have to. So maybe this new thing that they're working on, they're saying that they're trying to add mental health professionals to this situation when they get a call about somebody going through a mental health crisis. And mental health problems, it's a real thing. There's some people out here that just don't have it all. They've been through some things, they've been through some real serious traumas in their lives, and they just haven't been able to fully recover, and they have a tendency to just basically splinter into different emotional states, bipolar, manic, whatever you want to call it. But there are people in the world that are like that. And some of them don't want to be here anymore. So they get to this point where they want to basically commit their own unaliving and have the police be responsible for it. Because I'm sure that a rational mind would know if you come at the police with this knife, you're not going to walk away from it. You're not going to walk away alive. And so I believe that this person wanted the end to be what it is. But I think that by not doing what they were supposed to do beforehand, they did this person a disservice. The person was an obvious mental health issue, and they didn't do what they needed. So I hope that they do make some changes to how they police people in general. I think that there's a lot of officers that really are just not good people, and they happen to have a job that gives them way too much authority on life and death. Hear about it every day. Some unarmed person, black or white, doesn't matter. It happens all the time. I've seen enough video. But every time when they hear that there's a mental health issue, nobody ever calls the damn psychologist. Why not? And they always say the same thing, because it's not policy. So maybe it is time to change the policy. Maybe it is. Al, I hear you, bro, but you see the image. If a person goes from 0 to 100 and they're that close to you with that weapon in hand, what else are you going to do? I mean, you could try a chest kick, one of them Spartan kicks. That'll get the person away from you, but you still might get cut. See what I'm saying? And with them steel boots that the police had, that definitely would have had some impression. I'd have had to put a steel boot right where that necklace is. And those are some nice necklaces for a crazy person. He wasn't too crazy to know to put that ice on. He got that ice around his neck. I'm just saying, they're not prepped, and they know that they have guns. And they know that if a person does too much, they're going to shoot them. So if you know all of this, why not do more to prevent it? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they should be allowed to just take people out. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is everybody's got a responsibility to be responsible in these situations. This person is having a mental health crisis, so their responsibility is almost out the window. We don't know what they're going to do. But we do know the officers are supposed to be highly trained negotiators, so to speak. They're supposed to be trained in tactics and, you know, how to avoid conflict and how to de-escalate. There was no chance to de-escalate this. This thing went from 0 to 100 in 0.2 seconds. I didn't know it was going to be that fast. But at this point, this is what we got. This is what we got. We've got officers who don't know what to do when they encounter the public. And because of that, they don't prep for the encounters. They don't call anybody. They don't get a riot shield, like you were saying. Like, they don't do any of the things that a rational person should do, knowing that they're about to encounter somebody who could be a threat to themselves or someone else. And I think that maybe there's some good in the fact that they got investigated and they're planning on changing their policies because of incidents like this. The last two incidents, the guy who got kneed in the face and this one, were both people who were having mental health episodes at the time when these things happen. And the police are brutalizing people who are going through mental health episodes. That's a problem. Thank you, Carol Verkenis, for the subscribe there. I appreciate it. But let me wrap this up because I do have to get out of here. And this is sad to me because it's like I feel the officer, like he had to do something very close. But I just feel like if you were really worried about that before you got there, then you should be taking the precautions so that when you get there, you got everything you need so that you don't have to immediately shoot somebody who's wilding out. Because this guy is definitely wilding out. Definitely wilding. Let me bring this back over here. So just to take you back through that last situation, the father called to ask for help with this schizophrenic son. They knew that there was a mental health issue before they arrived. They spoke to that other lady who also explained the same thing. And we ended up with a person losing their life who really was just having a rough day. So why are we sending armed officers to a mental health crisis? Because if the father called and said, I need help with my schizophrenic son, then we don't necessarily know that a crime had been committed to which the officers had to be responding in that way. The officers should have had another group that they could call when the original call was a mental health issue. And then the officer's job should be to go protect the mental health professional that's helping them work through it with that particular suspect. Just my thought. It's just how I feel, okay? Just how I feel. So here's what we learned today, guys. The Purge Collective came together. You guys in the chat really helping me out along the way. But we've learned that we got sheriffs running criminal enterprises, teachers preying on our students, Supreme Court making their own decision about banning transgender affirming care, which I think was a good decision to ban that because I don't like that, but that's just my opinion. We got cops being called to deal with mental health crisis. This is what happens when a system that's designed to protect us becomes the very thing we need protection from. We've got predators with badges, authority figures abusing power, and a system that protects the wrong people. The difference is this is not Hollywood. This is not entertainment. This is really what's going on out here. And I guess the question isn't whether or not we need reform. The question is whether or not we're brave enough as a collective to demand it. Because until we hold people accountable, nothing's going to change. Nothing at all. So we're gonna have to change the whole game, man. Mental health is real. There's a lot of people that just ain't got it all together. They be snapping out and doing all types of stuff, and the police are not trained to deal with it. Maybe we need to get not only the police, but society to be better trained at dealing with mental health issues. Because some things we just let go. I personally believe that gender dysphoria is a mental health issue that they decide to treat with appeasement. So instead of trying to help the person work through the issue, they just kind of condone it and feed it. And I don't think that helps. Can't feed the negative that a person is going through. Can't. And expect to get a positive result. So we're going to see where this thing goes. We're going to see where this thing goes. But I just personally, if they don't rewrite the policies, ain't nothing going to change. We'll be looking at the same story next week. So, that mental illness, like you said, Jay Coleman, mental illness is no joke. I've seen people who just, you can't bring them back into reality. You can be as rational as you want. They be way out there somewhere. And so the only way back sometimes is a taser. I don't necessarily think a bullet, but a taser, it'll wake you up sometimes. And a little shock will wake you up. Get you back to reality. Dewdrop says they need to send in a robot to deal with situations like that. Not a bad idea. Maybe we can use them new Optimus robots that Elon's been working on to do that. But Elon is, before I get out of here, Elon's definitely having a rough week. Y'all didn't know that rocket blew up yesterday that he was testing. So I'm going to ask the question again. Y'all think you're really going to be ready to go to Mars in 2026? I'm not setting foot on none of them rockets. He blows up every other one. Every other one gets blown up. So I'm going to give my shouts. I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to finish with that one quote here that Sebastian Polega just put in the chat. Can't feed delusional people. Can't keep feeding delusion and expect rationality and sanity to be the result. Okay? You cannot keep feeding delusion and expect rationality and sanity the result. I just did a Umar Johnson there. I only did it twice. So anyway, special shouts to Jay Coleman, who has, of course, been definitely running through the chat there. I always appreciate that. That gong is for you. Let's see who else we got in here. We had Sebastian Polega. Of course, my man Al Bond, my sergeant at arms. IMZ that stopped in here. We had, who else was coming through? Who else came through in here? Trying to see. Dewdrop, almost forgot about you. Thank you for stopping in. And for anybody else that's a new subscriber that didn't necessarily get in the chat but did enjoy the content, make sure you come back. We'll be back on Saturday for our panel show, which we'll have our guest panel on there with Genesis and Bricks and Bravo, and I think we're bringing on 2 other people as well. So we'll see how that goes. But make sure you're back. That's the Saturday evening show, 9:30 p.m. But if you have come on, and Purple Groovy, I almost forgot about you. Never forgot about you. Never forgot about you. Purple Groovy gets that. And for the rest of you guys, like I said, if you're just in the chat, if you haven't made yourself known, make sure that you don't stay in the rafters for too long. Come on down to the court, play the game with us. Because if you're afraid to get in the game, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. And I'm out.